Hey, 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 welcome to the Walking Life's Journey podcast. For those that are joining us for the very first time, we say thank you. And those that have been with us week after week, we appreciate you greatly. Please remember to share, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so that we can continue to grow the WLJ community together. For those that may not know, I am Nikkita White, and I am one of your hosts.
Joined by Lorenzo White, the husband.
And Keyondra White.
And together, we all make the White family. Now, before we dive into this week's topic, remember, you can catch us every Monday on
Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and TuneIn, TikTok, Instagram.
Wow.
Zamzos, Lowe's, Home Depot. Don't forget about that.
He did that. I'm so proud of
I got you, man.
He knows exactly where to find us. Did you tell them that they definitely should join our Facebook group where they get a daily dose of motivation?
Motivation.
Right. Okay, y'all. This topic right here, I'm going to have to start with a couple questions for you all.
Let's go. Let's get it.
I just need a yes or no.
Yes.
When I ask the
False.
question. Have you ever went into a situation with expectations, but yet you did not share those with the ones that need to hear them?
Oh, sorry.
I guess that's a yes. Is that a yes? Is that a no?
That was a packed question.
That's a possibility.
Okay.
Yes.
Are your expectations one-sided? Do you have expectations on people and you don't expect expectations to be put on you? No. Okay. Well, today we are talking about unspoken expectations. And do you know what unspoken expectations can do?
What can they do?
They can leave you feeling frustrated. They can leave you with some anxiety.
Mm.
They can leave you with some feelings, all leading to emotional issues.
What?
Let's talk about some unspoken expectations. Y'all ready for this?
Let's go.
Okay, let's do it. So, unspoken expectations, you have them in your friendships, you have them in your relationships, you have them, work. They can be anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And when I thought about unspoken expectations, it's kind of like we're in a relationship, we're in a friendship, whatever that is, and I have expectations for how you should show up. I have expectations of things that I think you should do because you're my friend. But do you know my expectations? White, I got expectations of you as my husband.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know my expectations?
Not all of them.
So they're unspoken.
Mm-hmm.
So if I get frustrated because you didn't know something,
That's on you.
that's on me.
Yes.
Let's talk about unspoken expectations. Let's do it.
All right. So unspoken expectations. Since you put it on me, do I know all of your expectations? I know a lot of your expectations. I do. We've been together long enough. But being together long enough can kind of leave you, or can sometimes leave a person with a sense of, you should know what I'm thinking.
You should know what I'm thinking. I'm a mind reader today.
I'm not a mind reader. I'm never a mind reader. So when I get in trouble, when I get fussed out behind something that you didn't tell me, but you think you told me, that's your fault.
Is it really my fault?
Absolutely.
Now, is it unspoken expectations, or is it reality of we've talked about things before and maybe you have forgotten?
Could be a mix of both. However, what I've come to find out being in a relationship with you, sometimes we don't always communicate the way that we should. And what I mean by that,
say bull shenanigans.
Well, don't say bull shenanigans yet. What I mean by that is sometimes we may think that we clearly express what our expectations were, but really didn't. Yes, I'm not saying all the time.
Okay.
I'm just saying it can happen.
I think
It
sometimes
happens.
it's like you start thinking and it was in your brain. So when you had the conversation, you really thought you said
Save
everything,
that. That's
and it-
exactly what I'm talking about. Your fault.
and it may not necessarily be that clear. Or it's like, did I actually tell him that on Tuesday? And I'm like, no, I did tell him that on Tuesday.
Or
was I dreaming? What happened? But unspoken expectations,
Yeah.
they can get you in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
They can get you in your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when someone says, you know what you did. And you're like,
Yeah.
What I do?
what did I do?
Mm-hmm.
So you're holding me to some expectations you had of me, but you never really shared those.
Yeah.
So we're walking in a situation where we got unspoken expectations, and now you're in your feelings because I didn't even know what you expected of me.
That's right. It happens more often than not.
Is that fair to say? Now, I know we can't use that all the time, so I'm not trying to give anyone a reason to be like, oh, I didn't know. Because a lot of times we do know things.
Yeah.
But when it comes to expectations of others, I think sometimes we do just automatically feel like, well, this is how I show up for you, so this is how I want you to show up for me.
Mm-hmm.
And when you miss the mark of showing up for me that way, I might get in my feelings because I didn't clearly speak my expectations of our relationship. I just assumed that because I do this for you, you will reciprocate those tasks, those feelings, those things back.
Right.
What you think? Unspoken expectations. Do you have unspoken expectations on folks, or have you been put in a place that someone has stopped talking to you or got upset with you for those unspoken expectations?
So honestly, now I can't really think of any. I don't really put. Basically, saying I set the standards low, meeting people now.
Oh, hold on. You put your
So-
standards low when it comes to meeting people.
There
Just
you go.
because I
That's a
want
good
them
one.
to show me what they can do instead of, like, you hit the nail on the head saying you expect people to give you the same energy you give them. Because in past friendships, I'm like a giver and I expect that to be reciprocated towards me, or I
Yeah.
want that same, because I want that same energy back. And when I don't get it, I'm left like, okay, well, I don't know. I'm just left feeling some type of way.
Mm-hmm.
And they never knew that. I shouldn't have held them on a pedestal, to that same pedestal. But so now I just keep it low. But you definitely hit the nail on the head saying how people expect their energy to be reciprocated back.
But let me ask you
Good.
this,
That's
Dan.
good.
Do you think that is their fault, or does some of that fall on you as well, since you didn't clearly let them know, yo, if we're going to be friends, this is what I expect?
No, yeah, it's part of my fault because I never I never vocalized that, but just in my mind at that moment, I just felt if I'm doing all this, you see me doing all this for you, I'm there to help you, I'm there to listen to you, I expect that back. It just seems like it would be just second nature to them or common sense type of thing, but it's not.
Yeah.
It seems like, right?
Yeah.
And those are those unspoken expectations. You see me giving all this, that means for our relationship to work. Like, I do want our friendship, I do want our relationship to be equal, a give and take relationship, not always a one-sided.
Right.
And sometimes those unspoken expectations get in the way because you assume that they know how you want to be treated. And they should if they're really in your life. But I think sometimes it's just better to be really upfront early on in a situation. If we're going to be friends, if we're going to be in a relationship, whatever that is, I think back on like certain meetings I get ready to walk into for work or just different things. When I really, really got an idea that I'm very, very strong on, I'll come in and say, okay, y'all, this is what I got, da 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 da. And I'm sharing all of that to let you know, like, I actually got an idea that I really want to move forward with. So I'm coming in with that expectation of how do we take this idea, make it bigger, create it, whatever. But when I go into a meeting and I'm very, very like completely open, I will come in and say, okay, I am not married to any idea. I don't have a suggestion. I am so open. Let's throw all our ideas on the table and then move from there. Those are two different things. Because if I come in with an idea, that's already letting you know I have expectations of how we're going to move forward. But if I come in with like, I'm open, that literally means I'm completely open. There's no hidden agenda. There's no unspoken expectations. The only thing I ask is that you come to this table with some ideas and let's start working on them together.
Yeah. But that falls back on you clearly telling them what it is that you're wanting.
Yeah.
I want your ideas on this. Da 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 da. Sometimes when you do have that idea, like, yeah, I'm fine with getting feedback, but this is the course that we're gonna take. How do you feel in those moments when that's not received or you get pushback and things like that? Like,
yeah. Oh, it definitely happens,
Oh,
right?
yeah, I
Because I
know.
come in sometimes and got an idea, and I'm like, okay, that wasn't received very well. So I'm gonna step back and say, do we have anything else on the table? I'm okay with some situations, especially when it's not my platform. That's really the thing. If it's not my platform and you're asking for ideas and you shoot it down, I'm okay with that because it's not my platform. Now, if it is actually a platform that I am leading or I'm there to push that to the finish line, then I'll come in and say, this is the idea. This is what I'm thinking about wanting to do. Do you all have any concerns? Do you have anything else that we can bring to the table? And sometimes it's a yes, and we figure out how we can bring them together and make it work. I'm not going to always say if it's my platform or if it's my job to push it forward. I'm not going to always just let it completely go.
Right.
Especially when it's something I'm very strong on. Like, I really feel like we should try this. I really feel like we should do this. But I am willing to hear all other thoughts, suggestions, and see how we can bridge them together.
okay. In the same vein, in those moments when you do get pushback sometimes or whatever, and it's not received the way that you were expecting it for it to be received, do you revisit that and like, okay, guys, this is not necessarily what that is. This is what's going on. This is what we need to do. Now, you know, and yeah, you don't completely shut anybody out unless it's dire. You taking the wheel and driving that thing all the way home, and you
Yeah.
need stuff to happen a certain way.
Yeah.
But do you loop back around when you get some pushback, like, yo, this ain't what that was. This is what we da 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 da.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
I think you're right. So sometimes, yes, I gotta loop back around, right? And when I loop back around, part of it is you said it earlier, and when we first started talking, I was like, I beg to differ. I don't know, bull. But truthfully, it is in those situations when I gotta double back. Was I clear?
Right. Right.
Did everyone know the entire picture?
Right.
Do everyone know where our start is and our finish line is? So it's coming back to say, maybe I didn't speak clear on that situation.
Clearly
maybe I dreamed
communicating.
that I shared this and I didn't. Because sometimes you do have so much happening in your life and you're like, did I talk to Bria about this? Or did I like, oh, don't forget when you get home, make sure you talk to Bria about this. And then I walk in the house and I forget, and I'm like, did I tell him that they called and they were going to be here, and the expectation is that everything be ready? And I'm like, ooh, I forgot that. Right. And so you drop the ball sometimes. Yeah. And those can lead to unspoken expectations because you weren't even aware that the situation was happening. You didn't have the whole clear picture.
That's right.
So I don't mind getting pushback. I mean, honestly, I've gotten a lot of pushback in certain things over life. And it helped me actually come to a place to learn, like, okay, be clear in your words, be clear in what you're asking, be clear of your goal, your end goal, your beginning goal, the expectation, where you want me, how you want me, all those things.
It can save a lot.
lot.
It can save a lot of heartache, attitudes. It can, it sets people up for success when they're clearly and fully communicated to and with.
Unspoken expectations can definitely leave you with some frustration.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, it's not fair for either person that's in the situation to come in something with unspoken expectations. Because truthfully, nobody's a mind reader. We always do this like intro thing. It was like, if you could have any superpower you want, what would that be? And sometimes we'll be like, mind reading. And we're like, do I really want to read your mind? Do I really want to know what you're thinking right now? But sometimes walking through life, it's a mind reading game. You don't tell me what's happening. You just keep it to yourself. You don't express it. And so that's an unspoken expectation because I'm supposed to read your mind to tell for me to understand why I ticked you off today.
I mean, also some unspoken things are, or should be common sense. It should be expected. Like like respect. You know.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, I don't expect somebody to just off the street to disrespect me, especially if I don't disrespect them. You know, it should be a common thing. Okay, this person ain't did nothing to me. There's no reason for me to go off on them or anything like that. That's unspoken. Mm-hmm. You know, it should be that right there in itself should be common sense. Although
what is common sense?
Although a lot of people stray away from that, and you have different incidents and things like that. Yeah. Senseless incidents, but some things that are unspoken that should be like, okay, this is the standard for living. You shouldn't just walk up to somebody, haul off, and smack the crap out of them.
Not if you're not willing to get a smack back.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that whole thing you start learning in grade school, just to like treat others how you want to be treated. Don't go slapping Billy if you don't expect to be slapped back.
Yeah.
So I feel like those expectations start forming at those age because you learn treat others how you want to be treated. So you're treating others, if you're like nice to others, that you want to be treated nice back, and you're forming those expectations, and then you don't get it.
Yeah,
that's good.
That is. I mean, that's how we grow up, as treat others how you want to be treated. I was reading something, and the quote was, treat others how they want to be treated. And sometimes people actually show you how they want to be treated, because you can't always say how you want to be treated, because everybody these days don't want to be treated well. Mm-hmm. Like, you might get more out of somebody that cusses you out, treats you all bad, but yet you will go head over heel for that person.
Right. Somebody
that's talking about you, doing you wrong, but you'll go head over heels for that person. Mm-hmm. And the one that is trying to show you the right way that you should be treated, you mess around and treat them like dirt.
Absolutely.
You mess around and, disregard them and who they are. So definitely grew up with that saying, and we taught you that saying. And then the older I got, and then doing like different leadership courses and motivational things, it's like, no, treat people how they show you they want to be treated. Mm-hmm. And I'm that's like, it. Wow. When I first got that presented, I was like, now that's a different thought, because I know how I want to be treated. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, but that is good. Yeah. Unspoken expectations. Don't put unspoken expectations on folks. Let people know what you expect. Let people know how you like to be treated. Let people know what you need to make your cup full. That's how I am now. But I think
is it?
Okay, yeah.
So how do you go about vocalizing that if you have like a relationship where there's so many like unspoken expectations? How do you go about now all of a sudden vocalizing that?
So y'all know me, life coach, tons of questions. I've learned lessons truthfully on this journey called life. And some relationships, you got to go back and try to repair them. And all you can do to repair them is to say, hey, let's talk. I think a lot of things can be worked out by communicating.
Yeah.
And that's where you start with those expectations. And really, I can think about a situation right now. It's like really like I had unspoken expectations on you. And that's not your fault. That's my fault because I should have come to you and talked to you. But vice versa, I would have appreciated if you would have come and talked to me too so I could know exactly how you were feeling. Again, that's communication.
Yeah.
Now, once we do that and we still ain't getting on the right page, don't believe in like just tossing any relationship. But I think there's a spot of we just don't get on that same
Yeah, you know how
page
to deal with that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because I definitely learned. I tell you guys, I learned a lot on this journey called life. You do not cut people out your life. You never know who you're going to need. You never know what you're going to need. And I don't know. Yeah, that's, yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Learn some things.
But basically communicate. You have
Yeah.
to talk.
You have to. Because again, as much as we can think, oh, if I was a mind reader, the thing is, I don't always know. Now, don't get me wrong. There's times that you know what you did, you know what you said, you know how you feeling because you're giving it off. Whether your words aren't saying anything. It's your body language, it's your
Actions.
expressions, it's your actions. But can we open our mouths and talk? Can you tell me what I did?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of holding me accountable for your unspoken expectations?
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't hold me accountable for your unspoken expectations because you feel like I should know what I did when I don't even know what I did. Wow. Gosh.
Say that.
Yeah. What? They both were like, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, these two are just looking at me like I
Say
don't know.
that.
No, you speaking.
You speaking, girl.
It's just things you learn.
No.
Yeah.
And I know I've acted like that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
I mean, we always know. White, you've been
Yes.
knowing me for how many years?
3
So I
years.
know, and I think you can vouch that as I continue to grow,
Yeah,
on this
grow,
journey
grow,
called
grow.
life,
Growing.
my attitude and a lot of other things have gotten better.
Absolutely.
You got
Yes,
a new
ma'am.
attitude,
I
huh?
got a new attitude.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. You have grown. But that's what it's all about, growing, learning, communicating.
I tell you one thing that I have not grown in, my singing ability.
At all.
Which, as you guys see, I always try to throw a little note in there every once in a while. It's not that great, but I'm going to keep doing it.
Okay. Whatever makes you happy.
Got a new
She
attitude.
did it again.
Y'all got anything y'all want to add to this? This
Nah,
unspoken?
nah,
Because y'all
nah.
know I can talk about it all day, but just learn. Whatever you do on this journey called life, make sure you're learning. Make sure you're changing. Make sure you're growing. And guess what? Don't walk around life always like, well, that's me. That's me. Some things on this journey we need to change about ourselves. We need to change about ourselves.
Yes,
so look
ma'am.
at yourself in the mirror and find out what it is today that you need to change. And what is it that you have put in unspoken expectations on great people in your life that don't even know necessarily what you're holding them to.
Yeah, that's good. And make sure you communicate it clearly.
Communicate. Listen.
Yeah, and when you talk, tell the person, again, communicate clearly, but tell them exactly what you're wanting. Don't leave it up to chance that they're going to figure it out. Right?
You
No,
saying good
you're
stuff.
right.
I don't
Okay.
have nothing to say. I second that.
Okay.
I second that. And with that note, we say thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Walking Life's Journey podcast. I'm Nikkita.
I'm Lorenzo.
And I'm Keyondra.
And again, we appreciate you for joining this journey as we continue to walk it. And guess what? You are key story to your journey. Until next time.
Peace.